Transmission lines, standing wave pattern, first part, series on transmission line theory, lecture number 2.20. When a line is terminated over an arbitrary impedance, the incident wave partly goes into the load, remaining gets reflected. Reflections are unwanted, undesirable for more than one reason. The reflected wave and incident wave. Now they are traveling over the same line and of course in opposite directions. It results in interference between these two waves, leading to the formation of standing wave pattern. The standing wave pattern is characterized by presence of maximum voltage at certain points over the line, minimum voltage at some other points over the line. Not only that, maximum current at certain points, minimum current at certain points, maximum impedance at certain points, minimum impedance at some other points. These are all the properties of standing waves. In the present session, our focus is on voltage variation over the line with standing wave pattern, current variation over the line with standing wave pattern, impedance variation over the line with standing wave pattern. All these aspects we are going to study right now. Standing waves, these are formed due to interference between two waves. One is incident wave, another is reflected wave. Incident wave is one that travels from source to load. Reflected wave is one that travels over the line from load to source. Incident wave, when it comes into being, when a voltage source is connected to a line, a wave called incident wave starts traveling towards the load. Reflected wave, when it comes into being, when incident wave reaches and falls over the load, usually a part of it enters into load to get dissipated and the remaining starts traveling towards the source in the form of reflected wave. So this is a line, this is load, an incident wave. This is incident wave, it falls over the load. A part of the incident wave enters into the load, there it gets consumed, remaining gets reflected. Of course, when this load impedance is equal to characteristic impedance of the line, then reflection doesn't occur. Now over the line there are two waves but traveling in opposite directions, both for voltage and currents. Interference takes place between these two waves at certain points in the path. Incident and reflected waves are in phase, and at certain other points they are out of phase, leading to formation of standing wave pattern. If you consider voltage over the line, this is forward wave, V plus e power minus gamma x plus V minus e power gamma x. This is reverse wave, reflected wave. Current consists of two waves. Here the current also, forward wave, reverse wave. Of course, current can be expressed in terms of voltages with the help of characteristic admittance. When incident and reflected waves are in phase, interference is constructive, leading to increased wave amplitude, and it is destructive, decreasing the wave amplitude when waves are out of phase. In the first case, maxima happens. When the interference is destructive, minimum is singular, minima is plural. Antinodes are maxima, nodes are minima. Formation takes place. Both antinodes and nodes can be found to be interspersing and recurring at regular intervals. When the line is lossy, R not equal to 0, G not equal to 0. This is a lossy line. Or either one is not equal to 0. In such case also, line is lossy. In terms of alpha, not equal to 0. So lossy line is one for which alpha is not equal to 0. R is not equal to 0 and G is not equal to 0, or anyone not equal to 0 means it is lossy line. Both forward and reverse waves undergo decrease in their amplitudes as they travel. It results in maxima, minima points at different levels, decreasing towards the load both for voltage and current. What he is trying to tell is, in case of lossy line, Let us suppose this is source end. Source. Now the forward amplitude keep on decreasing like this. In fact, we can find that it is decreasing exponentially. Rigorous mathematical analysis tells. Now here reflection happens. A part of the wave returns back. While returning again, let us say certain amount of out of this, certain amount of got reflected. Let us say this much is reflected. Now it starts traveling in the reverse direction. While traveling towards source, it also gets reduced exponentially. Interference takes place between them. Because of interference, the resultant pattern, voltage pattern or current pattern is something like this. Current pattern also appears in a similar shape-wise similar. So this is maximum, this is another maximum, this is another maximum, another maximum, maximum. So different maxima you can find there at different levels. Maxima is decreasing as you move from source to load. Similarly, minima also. This is minimum, this is minimum, this is minimum, this is minimum. Minima also is decreasing levels. Okay. See, this is as far as lossy line is concerned. In case of lossy line, what happens is certain power of the forward wave, it gets absorbed by the line. To meet losses, I square R, conductor losses, or dielectric losses, if radiation is there, radiation losses. To meet these losses, line takes power from the forward wave. Same is the case with respect to reverse wave also. The line takes power from the wave to meet the losses. As a result of that, amplitude keep on falling as you move towards the load end. Of course, by the time it reaches here, to begin with it is large. By the time it reaches the load, it is small. A part of it enters, remaining, let us say the small part got reflected. While traveling, the amplitude of the reverse wave also keep on falling, again to meet losses. This is as far as lossy line is concerned. When the line is lossless, amplitudes of the waves along the line remain constant, all maxima at one level, all minima at one level, both for voltage and currents. In case of lossless line, what happens is, this is the line, forward wave, it travels with one amplitude because no losses. Whatever you feed here at the source end, the same wave with the same amplitude, it travels to the load end. It may go partly, it goes into the load, remaining gets reflected. Let us suppose this is the amplitude of the reflected wave at the load end. As the line is losses, it starts traveling towards the source with the same amplitude, initial amplitude. Now interference. Interference takes place between these two, resulting in this type of pattern. Or it can be like this also, you can think. All maxima at one point, all minima at one level. Here, maxima levels are falling, minima levels are also falling. But here, all maxima at one level, all minima also at one level. This diagram may not be exactly representing the situation, but roughly it is like all maxima. In fact, this kind of picture comes into being when reflection is complete reflection. When it is open circuit or short circuit, minima, they fall zero. Several other aspects pertaining to standing wave pattern we are going to see very soon. But for the timing, as far as this diagram is concerned, it is meant to notice the fact that all maxima, they are at one level, all minima at one level when the line is lossless. Here is shown lossy line. First lossy line. This is forward wave. This is reverse wave. Amplitudes are falling. Interference results in this kind of wave. Maximum, minimum. Their levels are falling because of lossiness of the line. In case of lossless line, this is forward wave. This is reverse wave. Their amplitudes are same. Now if you sketch the standing wave pattern that results due to interference between forward wave and reverse wave, you have this kind of thing. Minimum, all minima at one level. Maximum, all maxima at one level. This is for voltage. Current also. Current maximum, minimum, all at one level. Now, standing wave pattern on lossless line. We consider lossless situation. Why? What is the special interest of a communication engineer for a lossless line? Our operation is at high frequencies. Communications are high frequency techniques. At high frequency, any line is low loss line. It can even be approximated to lossless line. It is no more a lossy line. That is the important point. So, maximum or most of the times we can approximate communication lines as lossless lines. The voltage and current of the incident wave at any point over the line, including right over the load, satisfy V incident by I incident is Z0, where Z0 is characteristic impedance of the line. Certain important points, they are being mentioned here. This is the line, forward wave. In the forward wave, voltage exists, current also exists. Forward wave is also called incident wave. The ratio of voltage to current in the incident wave, forward wave, that ratio it remains equal to Z0. Z0 is characteristic impedance of the line. After reaching the load, partly in general it gets reflected. It is a reflected wave. In the reflected wave also there exists voltage and current. The voltage to current ratio in the reflected wave, V reflected by I reflected, it becomes equal to, things are in such a way that the ratio is minus Z0. Z0 is characteristic impedance of the line. The total voltage and current at any point over the line, including right over the load, are sum of the voltages and currents of the incident and reflected waves. So this is the line, forward wave, reverse wave. Here, what is the voltage at this point over the line? It is sum of two voltages. Voltage in the incident wave plus voltage in the reflected wave. What is the current at this point? Sum of the current in the incident wave plus sum of the plus current in the reflected wave. So V, total voltage, V here is V incident plus V reflected. I is I incident plus I reflected. The vector ratio V to I, total voltage to total current at any point over the load, gives line impedance. In fact, this is the definition of line impedance. What is line impedance? It is impedance exhibited by the line at an arbitrary point P, at a point P. Of course, it varies from point to point. Impedance means voltage there divided by current there. Voltage means total voltage. Current means total current. If the point under consideration is right over the load, the ratio becomes equal to load impedance, or ZL is equal to, see, one point, quite important point is, here is a line. Some standing waves, vagara, everything is there. This is ZL, this is Z0. Now, if you consider voltage here, it is sum of two voltages, incident reflected. If you current consider, it is sum of two currents, incident and reflected waves, currents. Okay, fine. This V to I ratio is your line impedance. Now you consider this point. This is called a load point. This is source point, whereas this is a load point. Here also, at this point also, there exist two waves, incident wave, reflected wave. So voltage is sum of the voltages in the two waves, current also sum of the currents in the two waves. V to I ratio is line impedance. But as the point is right over the load, this impedance must become load impedance. See, what is the impedance here? That impedance is ZL, just by mere watching. Now the point is, line impedance is defined for an arbitrary point. What he says is, when that arbitrary point happens to be the load point, then line impedance becomes load impedance. Now, standing wave pattern means, as already mentioned, there exist certain points where voltage assumes maximum value, certain places where it assumes minimum value. Regarding that now, properties of voltage maximum and minimum, now we spend some time. When a line is lossless, terminated over a pure resistance, a maximum or a minimum of the standing wave pattern exists right over the termination. See, here is a line, it is lossless line, it is terminated over pure resistance, that's also there. In such case, when termination is pure resistance, either voltage maximum exists here or voltage minimum, like this. Either maximum or minimum, either one. In fact, when, see, let us suppose this ZL, this is load impedance, it is equal to RL, resistance, pure resistance. This is R0, characteristic impedance R0. When RL is more than R0, it is maximum that exists. When RL is less than R0, it is minimum. You are going to see with proof these aspects. That's what he is telling here. Either maximum or minimum of the standing wave pattern exists right over the termination when termination is pure resistance. Voltage maximum and its next voltage maximum, they are separated by lambda by 2. So lossless line means standing wave pattern like this at one level. The distance between voltage maximum and the next voltage max, it is lambda by 2. Similarly, current maximum. Actually, current maximum also, in fact, it appears like this. This is current maximum. This is current maximum. So the distance between two consecutive voltage maximum or two consecutive current maxima, it is always lambda by 2. Hence, voltage and current over the line vary periodically. Periodicity being equal to lambda by 2. So V x plus n lambda by 2. Periodicity is lambda by 2. V x plus n lambda by 2 is Vx. I x plus or minus n lambda by 2 is Ix. Periodicity is being mathematically expressed. From source end to load end for lossy lines, maxima and minima of the voltage and current fall in amplitude we have already seen. For lossless lines, they remain at one fixed level, all voltage maxima at one level, all voltage minima at a different but one level. Similarly, current maxima and current minima. The voltage minima as well as current maxima, minima, voltage minima, current minima, they assume zero values when the line is lossless and termination is either OC, SC, pure reactance. This is an important point. Here is line. Now, when termination is either OC, open circuit, or short circuit, or pure reactance, what happens? This is incident wave, falls over the load. If it is open circuit, what happens? Reflection takes place. The importance here, important point to remember is, the reflection is total. Whatever falls over open circuit, entire wave gets reflected. So, reflected wave amplitude is the same as equal to incident wave amplitude. So, now you have two waves. Their amplitudes are same. Incident wave, reflected wave, their amplitudes are same. So, interference. During interference, when it is constructive, then amplitude of the wave becomes equal to twice the amplitude of incident wave. When it is destructive, interference is destructive, complete cancellation takes place. Because of equality of the strengths of the waves, total cancellation. Now, minima is zero. That's what he's telling. The voltage minima, current minima, assume zero values when line is lossless and termination is OC, SC, pure react. In these three cases, they represent a load which cannot consume any power or which cannot convert power into heat. If the load is having certain resistive power, then what happens? Instead of OC, let us say small resistance is there here. Instead of pure reactance, let us say a resistance plus certain reactance is there. Then what happens? A part of the incident wave goes inside, gets consumed by the load resistance. Gets consumed, remaining only gets reflected. Therefore, reflected wave amplitude is, it becomes less than incident wave amplitude. When interference is constructive, of course, amplitude is sum of the amplitudes. But when it is destructive interference, then what happens? Incident wave is having a large amplitude, reflected wave is having a small amplitude. So destructive interference means at points of destructive interference, things appear like this. It results in certain amount of small amount of voltage there. So now this point where V minimum happens or destructive interference happens, there it is not zero. When it is OC, SC or pure reactance, the story is like this. One fellow is like this, another fellow is also like this, same amplitude but in opposite direction. Cancellation means zero. But in this case, cancellation means certain amplitude, non-zero. The maximum value of voltage, V max, can be found equal to V plus 1 plus gamma. Gamma is reflection quotient. Magnitude of reflection quotient. What is this reflection quotient? I will tell you. For time being, accept V plus 1 plus gamma, whereas its minimum value is V plus 1 minus gamma in case of lossless line. Similarly, the maximum value of current I max can be found V plus, same as this V plus, 1 plus gamma, same as this gamma, and of course another term is there, Y naught. Y naught is characteristic admittance of the line, whereas the minimum value is V plus Y naught 1 minus gamma. Gamma is reflection quotient. It is defined as voltage in the reflected wave by voltage in the incident wave. Phasor voltages we have to consider to find reflection quotient. It is a complex quantity having magnitude and phase. In this expression, gamma is only magnitude. Magnitude is considered gamma plus V plus. Okay. A voltage maximum falls right over current minimum, and voltage minimum falls right over current maximum. In the beginning, it has been told to you this is the pattern. Current also will be having same type of variation. Here he is giving a connection between locations of voltage maximum and current maximum. He says current minimum falls right under voltage maximum. So current here is current minimum. Current maximum falls right over voltage minimum. So this is maximum, this is minimum, this is maximum. So current waveform will be like this. And so voltage maximum and their next current maximum. See, this is voltage maximum. Next current maximum is this. They are at a distance of lambda by 4. These are some of the characteristics or properties of standing wave patterns that come into being over a line when termination is certain arbitrary impedance. Some more points we discuss in the next session. Enough for now.